Hi everyone. In today's video, I'm going to discuss about developing a simple report application using PHP MySQL database and Bootstrap framework. Okay, so before starting today's video, I just want to tell you guys that if you guys like this video, click on like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And if you guys have any questions, then let me know in the comment section. So now let us start our discussion on this topic of developing a simple report application using PHP MySQL and Bootstrap framework. Okay, so as you can see here, the complete application has been done, and the exactly same application we'll be going to create in this video. Now let us first see this application. As you can see here, there are three drop downs. Okay, first drop down is having two options, first PUC and second PUC. Then second drop down is having further options like science, commerce and arts, and third drop down is having options like male and female gender options. Okay, so now whenever I refresh the page, the entire data gets fetched from the table and started displaying in the form of a table. Okay, and this data I can see with the help of this pagination. Okay, see all the records I can access. Okay, so now if I want to access only specific record, like if I want to access only the records belongs to first PUC science students whose gender is male, then I will just select those options from these drop downs, and when I click on submit, then only those records get started. Okay, suppose if I want the details of those students who belongs to second PUC and commerce background and female, then you can see only that record gets started displaying. Okay, now if I want to view the details of first PUC arts and male, then only that record gets displayed. First PUC commerce and then female, then the related record gets displayed. Then second PUC arts male, then those two records related to second PUC arts and male students get started displaying. Okay, so like this we can develop the feature of filtering the records from the MySQL table with the help of these drop downs using PHP MySQL and Bootstrap framework. Okay, so in this video we will be going to learn a lot of things like establishing the connection with the database, then designing this form using Bootstrap framework, then fetching the data from MySQL table inside these three drop downs. Okay, so whatever options you can see in these three drop downs, these options are coming from the database. Okay, and then fetching all the record and displaying those records in the form of a table. And also we will learn how to create the pagination to display the fixed set of records. Okay, and then we will see how to develop the feature of filtering the records based on our requirement. So this video will be very helpful for you guys, and you can use these functionalities in your upcoming projects. Okay, so now let us start our coding. So before coming to coding part, so let's first see the database. Okay, so here I have the database. I have created a database with the name of report, and in that database I have created four tables: data table, gender table, standard table, and then stream table. Okay, I have entered the related data inside the data table. Okay, and I have relevant data inside the gender table, only two records, and standard table contains standard details, streams table contains stream details. Okay, so now let's come back to data table. Okay, so if I see the structure of the data table, then here you can see I have created 8 fields, and first ID field is of type integer and it is of primary key. Okay, and then I have created first name, L name, standard, stream, gender, email and mobile fields. Okay, so this first name field is of type varchar, L name, last name will be of type varchar, standard of type integer, stream integer, gender integer, email will be of type varchar, and then mobile. Okay, so once you create this TBL data table, then you can go ahead to create the gender table, and in the gender table I have created only two fields. ID field will be of type integer and primary key, gender field will be of type varchar. Then you need to create a standard table with two fields, ID and standard. Okay, id will be of type integer and it is also a primary key, and standard will be of type varchar. Then I have stream table, and this stream table will have three records. Okay, two fields. id field is of type integer and primary key, and stream field will be of type varchar. Okay, so once you create the database and all the tables, then you need to come to any editor and you need to create a folder first inside your htdocs folder. So here I have inside my XAMPP folder, under the htdocs I have created a folder with the name PHP reports, and in that PHP reports folder I have further created two folders, asset and config. Under the assets I have stored the CSS file as well as JS file. Okay, so I will put the link of the CSS and JS files in the description so that you can easily access this or download these files. Okay, so like this you need to organize your CSS and JS files inside the asset folder. Okay, and then I have created one more folder with the name config. Under that config folder I have created a file db.php to write the database connection part or code. Okay, so now here what I have done is I have imported the PHP reports project on my Sublime editor. Okay, so here I have, as I have said, I had created db.php file, and in this file I have written the database configuration details like server name 127.0.0.1, then username, root, password, and then database name, report. Okay, and then I have created a connection which will make or establish the connection with the MySQL database by passing these many details. Okay, by using MySQL connect function. So if this connection successfully gets established with the database, then I can easily interact with the database. If this connection didn't get established with the database, then in that case I will display connection failed message. Okay, so this is everything about database configuration file. Next you need to create another file, index.php. Okay, so this is my index.php file. So in this file only we need to write the entire HTML and PHP code. Okay, so once you create your index.php file, then you need to include this HTML tags. Okay, and then title PHP reports. Then I have linked CSS file. Okay, so to link the CSS file I have used the link tag, type text by CSS, and then under the href attribute you need to link the folder name or the name of the folder in which your bootstrap file is located. Okay, assets slash css slash bootstrap.css. okay, my bootstrap.css file is present under CSS folder and then assets folder, as you can see here. Okay, so like this I need to include JS file as well, JavaScript file as well, and also you need to link the bootstrap.js file. Okay, next is under the body tag you need to create a nav tag. Okay, so this class is from Bootstrap framework. Okay, so next is under the nav I have created a div with a class of container fluid, and then another div with a class of neobar header with column 10, and then I have created the title for my navigation menu using a tag or anchor tag, which will have the classes neobar brand, and I have given few inline styling to this, and the title I have given as PHP simple reports. Now let's refresh the page. Now you can see the title started displaying. Next, once the navigation menu is done, then I have included the database configuration file. Next I have created a div with a class of container, and I have created two rows. First row is to display these drop downs and second row is to display this table. Okay, in the first row I have created a form with attributes like method equals to post and action index.php. Then under the form tag I have created 4 divs with each div having the class of column md3. Save it. Next, under the first 3 column div I have created the form group and then a label to display choose the standard option, and then I have created a drop down, first drop down, which will contain the details of the standards like first PUC, second PUC. Okay, so for that I have created a select tag. It gets started and ends here, and select tag is having the class of form control and name as standard. Okay, then I have written an SQL query which will take the entire data from the standard table. Okay, and then I'm executing that query by passing the connection. If my standard table returns me certain records, or if the table contains records more than 0, then I will iterate over those records. Then I will display the details of ID as well as the name of that standard in the form of an option. Now let's save it. Now let's refresh. Now you can see a drop down started displaying with these two values. Similarly, we need to create other drop down. Okay, that other drop down we need to create under this second div of 3 column. Okay, a div with a class of form group, and then a label to choose the stream, and then a select drop down with a class of form control and name stream. Okay, and then again I need to do the same thing. I need to write an SQL query which will select the data from the streams table, and once that query gets executed, and if that table contains certain records, then I will iterate each and every of those records, and I will display those records similarly using option element, where the value attribute of option is set to ID and the option data is set as stream. Okay, now let's save it, refresh. Now you can see the second drop down is also displaying with streams details. Similarly, I need to create the third drop down. So to create the third drop down, I need to go to the third div. Okay, I have created a div with a class of form group, and under that I have created the label of gender and a select element with a class of form control and name gender. Okay, here also I need to select the data from the gender table, and then I'm executing the data. If the table contains enough records, then I will iterate over each and every record and display that record using this option. Okay, let's save it and refresh the page, and you will see the details like male and female started displaying. Okay, now I need to display the submit button here. That submit button I'm going to create under this last or fourth div. Okay, so the label I have kept blank for label, and then I have created an input element of type submit, name as submit, class as btn primary, and then value as submit. Save it and refresh. Okay, so now we have created 3 drop downs which will hold the details of standard, streams and gender. Okay, now I need to develop the functionality where user will select any of these options, and once user click on the submit, then appropriate data started displaying inside the table. Okay, so now let's move ahead to create the table. Okay, so to create the table, I have created one more row here, and under that row I have created a table with a class of table, and then table head and a table row, and under the table row I have to create the table header, and I want these many columns in my table. Let me just save it and refresh. Then you can see a table with these 4 and 4, 8 columns gets created. So now we have created our header. Then next we need to create the body of the table. Okay, and then PHP tag. Okay, so now here I'm going to design the pagination for my table. So in the pagination, with the help of the pagination, I want to display only 5 records at a time. Okay, so that is my limit. That's why I have set that as a limit, and I assign that value 5 to the limit variable, and then I have written an SQL query which will select the entire data from the table, because I want to count the number of records present inside the table, so that I can divide those entire records and make the set of 5 records, so that I can display 5 records with the help of pagination. Next I want to execute this query, and then I'm checking if sufficient rows present inside the table. Okay, then what I'm doing is I'm making the total pages, then I'm checking how many total pages will be there, okay, by dividing the total rows by limit. So with this I will come to know how many pages can be created for pagination. If the get request is not been set, then I will be setting 1 to the page number. Otherwise I will take the page number from the get parameter and assign that number to the page number variable. Okay, and then I'm keeping the record of initial page. Okay, so for identifying, for determining the initial page, I'm using this formula, page number minus 1 into limit. This will give me the details of the initial page. Next I have written an if condition. Okay, if not is set $_post submit. Okay, so what is the need of this if condition? Okay, suppose here you can see, just right now I have just refreshed the page. When I refresh the page without selecting any of the list items from any of the drop downs, I want to display all the records and the pagination. Okay, that means I have not made the post submit request. When I didn't made the post submit request, at that time I want to get the entire data, I want to get the all records from the table. Okay, so that's what the meaning of this if condition. Okay, so when a post request is not been made, at that time I want to select the entire data from the table. That means data from the data table, that is id, fname, lname, email, mobile, these data from the data table, and then data of the standard table, stream table and gender table. So since in this query I'm trying to get the data from the 4 tables, that's why I need to join these tables. Okay, and then here at the end I'm setting the limit initial page will be value will be 0 and the limit value will be 5. Okay, then I'm passing this query to the get data function. Okay, so this get data function will be discussing next in the same video. Okay, so now I have written down the SQL query which will select the entire data from the MySQL table and display that data in the form of a table using pagination whenever user refresh the page, okay, or when the submit post request is not been made. Okay, next, what if the user has made the post submit request? Okay, what if user want to get the specific data? So in this case, so to fulfill this requirement I need to write one more if condition, that is else if condition. Next, and is set $_post standard and is set $_post stream and is set $_post gender. Okay, so what is the meaning of this entire if condition is, now user wants to get the data of their requirement. Suppose user has selected first PUC, user has selected science and user has selected male from this gender drop down. Now that means the value for each and every of these 3 drop downs is set, and now user is going to click on submit. When the user selected any of the option from all the 3 drop downs and then click on submit, then control will come to this else if part. Next, here inside the else if I need to select the standard details, and then I need to select the stream details and gender details. Okay, then I need to write an SQL query which will select the entire data based on the standard, stream and gender from the MySQL table. Okay, so here also I have written down the same SQL query. Here I am selecting the data from all the 4 tables, that is from data table, standard table, gender table and stream table. So that's why here also I have joined these 4 tables with each other using the where clause, and in the where I have passed the standard details, the standard detail, stream details and then gender. Based on the standard, stream and gender I am accessing the data from the MySQL table, and then I am passing this query to the get data function. Okay, next I need to work on creating the pagination, which is this page. I have written a for loop. This for loop gets started with the page number which has the value 1, and this for loop will get executed until all the pages gets completed. Suppose I have 5 pages, total pages count is 5, then 5 times this for loop will get executed and print the output or print the pagination. Okay, so as you can see here, under the for loop I have written this PHP code. Okay, where I have displayed the page number. Okay, and I have given few inline styling. So now let's save and let's refresh. Okay, now it's displaying you an error like call to undefined function get data, because we have not written the implementation of get data function. So that we will going to do now. Okay, next is, as I have said, I need to write down the implementation of get data function. Okay, so now as you can see here, in this get data function I am passing the SQL query get query. So the same query I need to receive here inside the get data function, which is this SQL. Okay, next I am including the database configuration file, and then I'm executing this SQL query using this MySQL query. And here I'm checking if sufficient records present inside the table or not. Okay, if I find records more than 0, then I will iterate over each and every of those records, and then I will try to print each and every record in the form of a table. So to display each and every record, here I have created a TR, table row, and under the table row I have created the table data tag to display the ID. Now let's save it and let's refresh. Now you can see the IDs of all the records started displaying. Next, similarly I want to display the name, and then you can see name started displaying. Like this I need to display all the details like first name, L name, standard, stream, gender, email, okay, and mobile. Okay, save it. Now you can see all the data started displaying, and then refresh. Now you can see since I have created pagination for this table, now you can see only 5 records are displaying because I had given the 5 as a limit. Now if I want to see the further 5 records, then I just need to click on this 2, page 2, then page 3, then page 4, page 5, and then page 6. I have only 2 records. Okay, so like this I can move one by one from one page to another page using this pagination. Okay, and I can also filter the records, whatever records I want. Female, if I want to get the details of female students from first PUC commerce, then it will give me that detail. If I want to get the details of second PUC science female candidates, then it will be giving me that required. Okay, so I can access or filter required data using this application, okay, based on the drop down values. Okay, so this kind of feature is very helpful in many web based applications. Okay, and if you understood this, if you learn how to do this, you can use this code in your upcoming projects. Okay, so I hope you guys have understood how to create this simple report kind of application using PHP, MySQL and Bootstrap framework. Okay, so that's all for this video, guys. So if you guys like this video, click on like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and if you guys have any questions, then let me know in the comment section. And thanks for watching.